What I'm going to do now is practice what I preach. I'm going to play my own video of me speaking. Now, it's by no means perfect, because we're all still learning, but I think it does demonstrate that formula. Now, it is actually quite personal, and normally I wouldn't share it, but I think the best speeches are ones where you are honest and you are selling a part of yourself to other people. So yeah, watch it, enjoy, take some notes, and I'll see you after.
I think what I want to gain from this is that having a disability, coming from a hard background, doesn't have to be the thing that defines you, it can be the thing that empowers you. So to take this back a little bit, when I was younger, things was a little bit difficult. For instance, I've got autism, I've got dyslexia, and I've got dyspraxia, so thanks. But these are always the trouble. So having a name like Nathaniel, rather difficult to spell, being from an area where schools aren't so great, it can be a challenge. But that wasn't the main difficulty in my life. The main difficulty was my family life. See, my dad wasn't such a great guy. He was just really bad to my mum. And to the point where it led her to have like a breakdown and made her feel shit all her life and never felt that she was able to achieve. And for me, I just assumed this was how you treat women. I thought this was how you go about daily life. So I feel like it led me down a bit of a negative path. However, one day it went too far. He nearly beat my mum to the point where she was near death. And thankfully I was able to save her. And it was that point enough was enough, and I had to call the police, and I sent my dad away. It's been 10 years since that day, and I've not spoken to him since. Now, I'd love to say that was the end of it, but it wasn't. It kept continuing. He kept coming and playing tricks. He kept trying to abuse, get inside her head to the point she broke down, and I had to look after her. And I could barely look after myself at that time. My mum was everything. It got to the point where I had to drop out of school and look after her full time. When eventually she tried to commit suicide, it got to the point where I knew I couldn't look after her anymore. I wasn't qualified for this. So I had to sanction my own mother to the hospital, the Mental Health Act. Now, she was away, and I didn't tell anyone about this. I stayed living at home. I had no money, I wasn't very educated. It got to the point where I had to steal just to put food on the table. I had to go out and just get scraps of food. And then to the point where I lost my house, I was just living rough. And then finally, it got to the point where my mum was able to come home, but only on the condition I was able to look after her. And now I knew for me to really look after her, I needed to make a change in my life. I couldn't just go around playing the old disability card, saying, I can't do this because I'm this, I can't do that because I'm that. So I decided to go out, to get a job, to earn some money. I wanted to go back into school, but they wouldn't let me because my grades were so bad. So I remember one night, I went into school and I actually broke into the building and I took all the textbooks. Most badass crime of the century. Thanks. Well, I left a few books for the other students, but, and then I taught myself so hard, and though I couldn't read very well, I used YouTube videos to teach me, and I found other ways that worked for my type of mindset. So at that point, actually, 2 years passed of not being into school, and I decided, you know what, I'm doing my GCSEs, and I did it, and by some miracle, I got all C's and above, which was fantastic for someone who hasn't even stepped his foot in a school. Then I was like, you know what, why stop here? You know, I need to earn money if I want to support my family. At that point, my uncle who looked after us just went to jail, so there was no one left, and I know that we needed money. So I went to university, but I didn't get in the first time because my personal statement was terrible. Then I decided to do a video CV, because I can express myself verbally, and thankfully, 2 years later, I finally got in. This is when I worked my ass off to get into the television industry, because I went to Bournemouth University. Yay! And it was great. So I found a course that worked for me. And after doing university is when I got nominated for the Rockstar Award, which was a fantastic experience. It really highlighted to me that, you know, doing good things in the world, there are rewards for it. And it's not just about surviving, it's about thriving. And after that experience, I thought, why stop here? You know, I've managed to earn enough money to get my mum a house now. I'm looking after my uncle. I've come through all these challenges. I've got a valuable skill set which people who have a much higher education than me will never have. So I just started to do projects. I started working with young carers, raising awareness of food poverty. I started getting young people into politics because if we really want to change society, we need to challenge it from the policy within. And I built up these groups and became a trustee of a charity. I got involved in politics, and then I started delivering work abroad. And this is all something which I couldn't believe a few years ago. So my end message to everyone here is that, yes, life can be shit sometimes. Life can be really difficult, but rather than let that hold you against you, let that empower you to take life and make it better for everyone else to come. Thank you.
So as you can see, there was my speech. I have to always leave the room when I play it because it's a little bit cringy. And it's not flawless, but it conveys a message well, I believe. If you can now, it's probably a good time to have a go yourself. Write out a speech, do the formula, try not to spend too long doing it. Rather than writing a massive essay, just do it in bullet points. What I normally do to write a speech, I will write it down quite wordy, or in my own language. Then I'll convert it down to bullet points, and then I'll just speak it. Do I remember every word? No. When I do the same speech multiple times, is it different every time? Absolutely yes. It's okay to change it. But sometimes just having the words in your pocket to read from, even if you never use it, can be quite comforting. There we have it, guys. Some fun tips on public speaking for people with different minds. I hope you found that useful. Even if you just got one thing out of it, it was worthwhile. And just to let you know, we actually do face-to-face public speaking workshops if you're interested. All you have to do is sign up to Exceptional Individuals and we'll let you know when they happen. Alternatively, if you ever want any support with your CV, interview practice, just want some one-to-one mentoring, drop us a line. We're always happy to hear from you. You've been completely beautiful today and I hope you enjoyed it. See you soon.